right, well, let's look at these. For number 4, 5 is in the hundreds place. 6 tells you what to do about it. 6 is a big enough number where 5 bumps up to 6 and the other numbers become zeros. Questions on number 4? With number 5, 2 is in the hundreds place, but we look at 3 to help us figure out what to do about the 2. And the 2 is going to stay the same. So 1, 2, and the last 2 numbers become zeros. With number 6, all right, so Addie, what are your questions? Tell me what answer you had there. I saw you erase, and erasing's okay. Tell me what answer you had.
I think I accidentally rounded.
Well, then you made a mistake, and that's why we need to talk about it. Tell me what answer you did have.
I had 1,200.
Yeah, well, after you round off, the other numbers become a zero, just like over here on these. See how we changed everything to 0, and right here we changed it to 0, okay? So number 6, Addie, what number do we underline? Okay, and what number do we look at for instruction? That's right, and what does the 1 tell you about the 0? You're exactly right. So the 5 stays the same, the 0 stays the same. And what about the 1 and 2? What do I do there?
0.
Let's change them to zeros. There we go. So here are your next set of instructions. Round to the tens place. Round to the tens place. And this time, because you've already had some practice, we're just going to do 4 of them. I'll do 2 with you, and then you'll do 2. So your first number is going to be 987. Number 2 is 1,357. Number 3, 6,420. Number 4, 548. So let's make sure you have the numbers written correctly. Number 1 is 987. Number 2, 1357. Number 3, 6420. And number 4, 548. Okay? So John, we're rounding to the tens place. Tell me what I underlined in number 1. 8 is in the tens place. Davis, what number gives me rounding instructions?
7.
The 7 does. Addie, what does the 7 tell you to do about the 8?
To bump it up to 9.
And Hannah, what's my answer going to be if you follow Addie's instructions?
It would be 990.
990. 990. Good. All right, for number 2, Hannah, which number do I underline?
The 5.
5 is in the tens place. Addie, what number is going to give me rounding instructions?
The 7.
A 7 again. Davis, what's the 7 going to tell me about that 5?
It's going to tell it to bump up to 60.
Okay, and then John, what's my answer going to be?
136.
136, and then the last number becomes a 0. All right, Davis, for number, okay, you guys do 3 and 4 on your own. All right, so with number 3, the 2 is in the tens place. The 0 is what gives me instructions about the 2, which means to stay the same. So this one's kind of weird. This one stays the same. It doesn't change even one bit because 0 is small enough for the 2 to stay the same. And it already has a 0 behind it. So with number 4, number 4, 4 is in the tens place. 8 gives me instructions, and 8 tells me to bump that up to a 5. And the last number is a 0. All right. Next set of instructions, round to the nearest whole number. Round to the nearest whole number. Can anybody tell me what that means? Anybody want to take a guess at it? What do you think, Davis?
Whole number is like 1.
Well,
And whole number, so we're going around like decimal wise, what's closest to like one number, like,
okay,
you know what I'm saying?
all the stuff before the decimal. We're not going to have anything after the decimal, okay? We're going to round to the nearest numbers before the decimal. And so I'm going to do 3 with you. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to let you do 3 on your own. So write these numbers down for me. 12.34. 97.53. 246.81. Number 4, 77.44. Number 5, 123.456. Number 6 is 654.321. So let's make sure you've got the numbers written down correctly. Number 1 is 12.34. Number 2, 97.53. Number 3, 246.81. Number 4, 77.44. Number 5, 123.456. Number 6 is 654.321. Everybody have them written down correctly? Okay. Now, Hannah, for number 1, we're rounding to the nearest whole number, which means we're rounding to what comes before the decimal. So what digit am I going to underline, Hannah?
1.
Actually, we're going to underline the 2
Oh.
because that's what comes right before the decimal.
Oh, I thought it meant like we had to do it, the whole equation before the decimal.
Well, we are going to use all those numbers before the decimal, but the ones place number is what we're going to underline because that's what's immediately before the decimal. So John, which of these digits is going to give me rounding instructions?
Oh,
The 3 does. And Davis, what does the 3 tell me to do?
Nothing.
Well, leave the what?
Leave the 2 the
Leave
same.
the 2 as it is. And guys, that's it. It stops there because when you're rounding to the nearest whole number, you're not going to have anything after the decimal. Now, it's not wrong if you put decimal 00, but it's not necessary because you don't have anything after the decimal. So it's okay to just write a 12, but if you want to write 12.00, you can. So for number 2, Addie, what number am I going to underline?
7.
But what number do I look at for rounding instructions?
5.
And Hannah, what does 5 tell me to do?
bump it up to an 8.
All right, so we have 9, 8, and that's where your decimal is, and everything else is zeros, so it's just the number 98. It's not wrong if you put 0.00. It's just not needed. Now I'm going to jump over and do number 6. John, what number do I underline?
4,
And Addie, what number do I look at?
6.
We're doing number 6.
Oh. Oh, you got 3.
Look at the 3. And Davis, what does 3 tell us to do?
It just says to say the same.
Stays the same. So Hannah, what's my answer?
6, 5, 4.
654. All right, so you do 3, 4, and 5 on your own. All right, here we go. So for number 3, your whole numbers are before the decimal. 6 is the last one before the decimal. 8's big enough to bump that up to 247. And like I said, you can put decimal 00, but you don't need it. With number 4, underline the 7. We're rounding to that place. 4 tells you to leave that alone. So that rounds off to just 77. For number 5, 3 is the last number in the whole numbers place. 4 is too small to bump it up, so it stays 123. Okay, any questions on these before we start rounding after the decimal? Okay, Addie, I see you erasing. What did you have, honey?
Number 5.
Yeah, what'd you have?
I have 22.
You never take it down. See, your 2 rules here, 5 or bigger rounds up. 4 or less stays the same. So we never take it smaller, okay? So next set of instructions, we're going to round to the tenths place. And this is our first time after the decimal, so I'm going to do 3 with you and then ask you to do 3 on your own. But guys, let me tell you, the great success you've already had with these other problems is just going to carry you forward here because the technique doesn't change. What's important with these next ones we're going to do is that you know your place values. You know where the tenths place is and the hundredths place and the thousandths place. So my first number is going to be 336.543. My second number is going to be 172.348. Number 3, 3,297.561. Number 4, 79.38. Number 4, 154.609. Wait a minute, we're going to write down one more and then we'll pick up with this tomorrow. And number 6 is 1,537.402. All right, so we'll pick up with these tomorrow. So keep your sheet. Don't lose your sheet.